This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. Use the links in the description to visit their store. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Aetherdrift draft. So, this rare I think is really good. You know, I didn't give it a great grade in the set review, but I think this card is kind of reflective of how this format has ended up being, which is that it's kind of slow. It's not that easy to get going with aggro decks, so slow cards that generate value, like Lumbering World Wagon, are actually pretty good. You know, they just search up lands. It's not, you can crew it eventually, fixes your mana. It's really good. I like the Aether Hive too. Blue-green is one of the better color pairs. Packdoll Terror is a really strong common. Lightning Strike, you know, coming into the format, probably would have been the pack one, pick one in this pack. But the way the format looks, I'd take the World Wagon, the Aether Hive, and the Terror ahead of it at this point. So that's how things have sort of panned out. Thunderhead Gunner also pretty good, but we'll take the World Wagon. It is something we want. All right, I think we take the Mammoth. I mean, it's a great thing to ramp into with the World Wagon, a good card in general. I like the Ketrodon too. This isn't very good, no big surprise there. Ride's End is pretty good. Not a huge surprise there either. It's maybe a little better than I expected it to be. The Exile actually matters enough in this format. There are enough creatures around, like, you know, it's good against Maximum Overdrive, for example. Things like that. But yeah, we take the Mammoth. Don't hate starting World Wagon Mammoth. You know, they're both very good creatures, or one's, I guess, a vehicle and one's a mount, but you know what I mean. They are both great cards for this. I mean, the Mammoth was going to be good in any format. That one's not that surprising. World Wagon, I mean, I think there's a lot of formats where you just can't play a 3-mana card that doesn't actually add to the board, but you can play it here. Okay, I do like Roadside Assistance, a reasonable amount. Packdoll Terror, like I said, is pretty good, but you do sort of need to be in blue-black to have it really go off. I've had some, I guess, like red-black decks where it went off. Rise from the Wreck's not bad. I mean, graveyard decks are real in this format. I don't like it as much as some of the other graveyard cards, like the Carrion Cruiser, because it adds to the board. You know, that kind of thing still matters. I'd probably take Spike Shell Harrier. Another kind of expensive card, but, you know, it's going to work well in every deck. This, you know, if you're not really... you don't have good targets for it, it's not that good. And it's also kind of dangerous. Packdoll Terror needs the right deck. The Harrier's good in, like, every deck. So, big bounce artifact. Lorna is, in fact, not very good. Not too surprising. I do like the Lagak okay. I could also go for Lagarin, which is not a terrible choice when two of my first three cards are, in fact, pretty good mounts / vehicles. I do think white and red are kind of weaker colors in this format. So going green-white, you know, going Sultai colors is generally going to be a little bit better. But this is a pretty good reason to go into green-white. Trip Up's not bad. I mean, it's a good removal spell. But, I mean, you know, we've also got the Lagak. I mean, we're kind of not an aggro deck if we're running Mammoth and World Wagon. So I think I'm just going to take Trip Up in the end. See if we can go blue-green. All right. Stock Up has been pretty good. I mean, you do need to get your shields up before you cast it, which right now we're not that good at doing. But hopefully we'll pick up some cards that let us. But it 3-mana draw the two best cards in your top 5 is a pretty real card. All right, I'll take an Engineer. You know, blue-green has a lot of good payoffs for exhausting, most notably the Aether Hive Signpost, which we did pass earlier, but also Ranger's Refueler, the one that draws you cards, and the one that lets you use exhaust abilities over and over again is pretty good too. But yeah, we will take the Engineer here. All right, Scurryfoot is a really good sign to still be here because it's one of the best commons in the set. Does exhaust stuff too. I mean, it's just such good value. You know, that is one that I got right in the set review, unlike Stock Up and Lumbering World Wagon. This is a card that would be good in any limited format too. Wasn't a hard one to pick up on. I guess we'll take Bounce Off. This Glider's not bad. It's been a little better than I expected. Like, if you end up in a good version of green-white, it's usually you've got it. I did have a deck once with the Gear Hulk where I had like 3 of them to grab, which was pretty sweet. The bright glass one. But yeah, we'll take Bounce Off. Interface Ace has been really bad. Not too surprising there. It's too one-dimensional. I think we'll take the Bike. I like it all right. You know, ramps our mana, fixes our mana. We've got pretty good fixing at this point. You know, life gain. It's fine. These are okay. I think these are a little worse than I thought they would be. The sorcery speed thing really gets me. All right, I like Keen Buccaneer. It's been a solid common. That's one I got right, too. There's a lot I got wrong in this deck, so I'm just trying to build myself back up. I guess I'll just take an artifact and let somebody take those mediocre white cards. Yeah, I kind of hope I don't play Glitch Ghost Surveyor, but it's not terrible. So off-color things to splash are definitely in are definitely accessible for us. It does stink that we passed that Aether Hive, but I guess I took a World Wagon, so I'm not too upset about it. Okay, there's Caradora. You know, if we had been green-white, she is pretty good. Grimbobble's pretty good, though. Well, it's a little less good than I expected, just because there's so many X3s in the format that it can't kill, but it also has some really nice artifact upside. This pack is not great. I mean, I'd probably take Spectral Interference. We're not doing much right now in turn 2, and it gives me something to do. The Sloth's pretty good. Don't really want another Surveyor. Don't want the Bauble. Pack 1, pick 1. It'd probably be Bauble, followed by Caradora, something like that. Okay, well, don't really like Silken Strength. We could take Fixing. I mean, Howler's Heavy's fine, though. I may just take the Heavy. I mean, it's true. If I open up an amazing red card, I'm going to be able to splash it if I take the Highlands, but this is good enough that I think I'm just supposed to take it. Well, things aren't going, like, amazing for us anymore. In that first pack, things were flowing. Now we're looking at Velo Heart Bike versus Gear Seeker Serpent, and yeah, we're not a Gear Seeker Serpent deck, and I'm not pumped about the idea of a second Velo Heart Bike. Is there something great in this pack for anybody, though? Not really. I mean, Grease Wrench Goblin's pretty good. It wouldn't be crazy. It's not like green's been really open, but I kind of feel like it's been open enough. Right, another Buccaneer. I'm happy with that. I would like to get some of the exhaust payoffs. Right now we don't have them. The good news is, like, you're not desperate for them because a lot of these cards are just, like, good. like the exhaust cards are just good on their own, right? I think I like Plow Through a little more than Gibberick Omnivore. Yeah, I mean, maybe not. You know what? I mean, it's a cheap card, but it's not really an early game card, and I kind of need an early game card. Our deck is looking a little anemic in the early game, and I don't really want to get run over before I can do the fun stuff. All right, Hull Drifter hasn't been that good, but it's, you know, it's not terrible. I kind of think I might take a gain land over it, though. A speculative one that will mean, you know, we can start considering splashing black cards. Yeah. All right, Thornwood Falls is a nice pickup. Embalmed Descendant's pretty good. So's Thunderhead Gunner. Those are both pretty good cards that are still here. This is pretty good in the right deck, but it doesn't surprise me that it's here. Well, I do like Trip Up enough. But Trip Up number 3, I think we'll take a Jungle Hollow. I mean, if only we had something black to splash, but I think it's worth the upside of if we see a great black card, and there's a decent number of them, we will be able to splash it with no real problem. Yeah, Point the Way is not the way. We'll take another Glitch Ghost. So, I mean, I'd like some more low drops and some exhaust payoffs. That might be asking a lot going into the final pack, but that's what I'm hoping for. I guess I can play this if I have to, speaking of low drops. Um, and Kaelorna. This isn't great. Is it better than Kaelorna? Probably. We have good mana in general because of the 2 bikes, so let's hope we open some amazing off-color bomb that we can splash. I mean, if it's black, we can play it super easy between the 2 bikes and the World Wagon. We are kind of at our limit for... And now we get a Tranquil Cove. Kind of at our limit for vehicles at this point. Ripclaw Wrangler is not bad. Look at all those Kaelornas. Oh, man. Double white. If it weren't for the double white, we could splash it, but we are asking for trouble if we try to do it. Good news is there's another Spike Shell Harrier, which is like, you know, Riptide Gearhulk at home, sort of. It bounces something when it enters and everything. I could use another 2 pretty badly, and I wouldn't hate like a Surveyor, but I think we take the Harrier. Yeah. Low drops, please. Exhaust payoffs would be good too, but I'm not desperate for them. Like, I don't really want to play these Surveyors if I can help it. They haven't been that good. Everything else, I mean, I kind of hope I don't play a Sarcophagus too, but, you know. Okay. Well, the Thopterist is good. Run Over is pretty good too. I feel like I need creatures, maybe, more than I need another removal spell, though. I mean, it is better than Trip Up, for sure. I'm probably supposed to take Run over the Thopterist. We do have a lot of cards that it's good with. We'll be able to pay 1 a significant chunk of the time. I do like the Thopterist, but, yeah. Camera Launcher's not bad. We've seen a few of them. I might play one if one shows up, although... Ideally, I would have some exhaust payoffs to really make it worth it. But yeah, we don't really, you know, Outpace Oblivion's not really something I want to try to splash or anything like that. You know, it's a good removal spell, but, you know, I don't think it's what we want to do. I like Diversion Unit a little more than the Engineer, especially when I don't have any exhaust payoffs at this point. So we'll take Diversion Unit. Nice 2-drop. Okay, we get Sita Varma. That's a nice pickup. I mean, she's not an exhaust payoff, but she has a powerful exhaust ability. We're going to have no problem casting her or using her ability. I do like the Lagak, especially once you get run overs. It's a pretty gross combo because it's 1 green to kill anything. But yeah. So... Sabotage Strategist versus Hull Drifter. This has been a little better, mostly because there's only... Grim Bobble's the only 1 mana common removal spell that can kill it, which is less than we usually have in a format. Well, you know, Run Over can be 1 mana, but it is less. It's better than I expected, is what I'm trying to say. I still don't think it's great, but this isn't a stab plus Burst Lightning format. Like if there were 2 Grim Bobbles in this format, it would be a lot worse. But they upped the rarity of the 1 mana deal 2 to uncommon. And you know, Lightning Strike can kill it, but once your opponent's paying 2, it's not quite as painful. Alright, we get a Thopterist here. The Pathmaker's kind of interesting. I don't think I have quite enough artifacts to feel super into it. It is something we could splash. But I'm probably just supposed to take the Thopterist, I think. Okay, we have a Hull Drifter, a Camera Launcher, and a Stall Out. I mean, I think I don't already have a Hull Drifter, do I? I just don't know if it's going to make the cut when I'm playing Velo Heart Bikes and stuff. Like, you can only have so many vehicles with more than Crew 1, and it's nice that it draws cards, but, I mean, I guess it's the pickup. I don't like Stall Out or cards like that. They're too one-dimensional overall. It's a pretty late momentum breaker. Not really a card you splash, though. Sort of the same for Lightning Strike. This card's been better than I expected, and I think I want it over Midnight Mangler. It's another 2-drop, but format goes long enough that this ability matters. Oh, man. This is what happens with Gearhulks, I guess. Because there's clearly nobody's playing blue-white, or it wouldn't still be here. It would be awesome if I picked up another, like, white land here. Picked up a little bit more fixing. Yeah, Broken Wings isn't terrible. I don't think we need it, though. There's another Hull Drifter. We did get a starting column. So in the end, we didn't really become that synergistic of a blue-green deck. I mean, I think we have lots of good cards, but we didn't get the big, like, engine payoffs. And games do go long enough, and Gear Hulk is good all game long. I've got a Tranquil Cove, 2 planes, 2 Velo Heart bikes, Lumbering World Wagon. I mean, it's not impossible. I might do it. We don't really need the sarcophagus in the end. I mean, it's just so good. And getting it when we did is funny, and, you know, it's good no matter when you play it. The only problem is if it is in one's opening hand, it feels awful in most cases because we're never going to have double white. So, you know, that is a problem. But no matter when you play it, comes down, removes something, and then it's a body that has to be reckoned with, like in a big way. I think I'm going to do it. It does mean we need to probably cut some more cards. Like, yeah, some more expensive cards. I probably don't need Hull Drifter. Like, Spike Shell Harrier is just better in most ways. And the Strategist, like I said, it's still pretty questionable. Do I like it more than Howler's Heavy? I don't think so. So I think this is what we're looking at here. We're going to play the Gear Hulk. I think if I'm being, like, completely serious here, I probably don't play the Gear Hulk. But it's a fun card. I haven't got to play with it yet. And our mana, while not excellent, it's too bad all those duels we picked up produced black mana. Our mana can support it. I think by, like, turn 10, we'll have 2 white mana reasonably often. I do have Buccaneers, so, like, if I don't have the mana for it, I can at least discard it. Like, stuff like that helps too, for sure. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna try to make it work. Okay, looks like a pretty good hand. I mean, we'll be able to Vanguard on 1, get a land on 3. Obviously, won't be able to crew it with what we currently have, but we'd already have 1 white mana. So, Gear Hulking shouldn't be very hard in this particular game, should we draw it. The little mouse. It's such a good common. Even better than I really expected, and I think, you know, I gave it a good grade, said it was a really good common, but even better than that. All right, well, now we've got all of the mana we could ever want. I guess we could use another forest. Let's play our World Wagon. Grab a forest. Pass the turn. So they're going to be able to use the Scurryfoot's ability now, thanks to the Optimizer. I always like making that play myself. I don't love, you know, here they can attack us pretty effectively. And I don't really want to block in a situation where I'd really like to just be able to keep crewing the World Wagon. Ooh, that's not good. We can trip it up, luckily, and it is a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Awkward, you know. It puts counters on stuff, but you know, they have to keep recasting it. It's got crew 3, etc. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna pass. I could attack. Then they're likely to crew the Velocipede, at which point I can bounce it, get in for 2. Yeah, that's actually not terrible, especially because I'm not really planning on doing anything on the backswing, but waiting to bounce it until their turn also means it'll be longer before it comes back. So yeah, never mind. We'll just pass, and we'll bounce the Velocipede, either in response to a creature that's about to enter, or if they crew it. This format in green and blue doesn't really have a trick that saves it from trip up. one of the many reasons aggro is not as good in this format. That thing is obnoxious. Oh. Yeah, definitely meant to bounce the Velocipede in response, like I said I would, and then I didn't. I'm playing so poorly in this format. I mean, you know, streaming and playing at the same time is harder than you might think, but either way, that wasn't a great play. Is it better to just bounce the Strategist now? It might be. Yeah. Yeah, I probably will. If I could get another creature, the World Wagon would be beefy. And I do have stock up, so... and a bunch of mana, so... probably is a turn where I want to stock up. Yeah. We'll stock up first, see what happens. Okay, definitely want the Harrier. I probably just want Harrier and Buccaneer, yeah. So let's play Buccaneer. And then let's crew this. It'll attack for 7, and they don't have a way to kill it currently in combat. Well, they do, but they have to give up their Velocipede, which I'm perfectly okay with. So, so that's a good trade, I think. Guess we'll grab another Forest. And they might just take 7, I guess. They do just take 7. Yeah, I mean, they can definitely do some damage on the backswing, but my Harrier is pretty likely to undo whatever damage they might do. Like, if they play that thing again, I just bounce it now. The downside is they can crew the Velocipede in response this time, but they're going to get in for 1. Okay. Well... yeah, we definitely want to bounce the Strategist. Might even counter it next turn. So they'll crew Velocipede in response. Like I said, I mean, if I lose the World Wagon after it's done all the stuff it's done, you know, all the damage and the... is it better to leave my 4/4 untapped than it is? It probably is. Not attacking with the other things after all. So attack. We'll grab an island now. Does Velocipede block or do they chump it? I think, I was going to say, if it was me, I think I would have blocked it last turn. Because it is a pretty big problem. Yeah, trade that off. We got, like, what, a 4/1 or something? And yeah, we'll leave up Interference because pretty good chance we can just counter something this turn. Like, if they try to replay this thing again. Yeah, and we will counter it. It is pretty frustrating for them that we time ebbed it once, bounced it once, and then countered it. Okay, we have so much mana. Which, when you got Beast Rider Vanguard lying around, actually matters. You know, it's not like I can't do anything with all this mana. Let's go ahead and exhaust. Okay. For that reason, I don't think I really want to attack with the Vanguard because its ability is going to come in so handy here. And it's not, you know, it's not going to do much. Whereas attacking with these makes a real difference. I mean, you know, they can't block and kill it, is what I mean. And we have a pretty good attack here, where, you know, their options are chump blocking or taking 7. And that's the kind of option you want to give your opponent for sure. Would be cool to draw a Gear Hulk. Alright, they are going to cycle, so they're, you know, it's not quite as dire. They're not going to take 7. They're just going to take 4. 1, 2, 4. I think I'm going to use this now, because in the event that I draw something else, I mean, I could still play the Omnivore. You know, maybe we'll find our Gear Hulk, huh? Yeah, we'll take the Mammoth, I think. And then we'll play Omnivore. Yeah, that's an annoying play, as it always is. The big Ketrodon can definitely help you stabilize. Okay. Well, we're going to play our big creature. And we're going to play the Thopterus, too. They haven't used their Scurryfoot's ability still, which is a little surprising. It is annoying that we got a flyer that can fly over their stuff and then they just, like, drew one. All right, well, that's a pretty good draw. I mean, I don't love letting them gain life again, but I do love being able to attack with basically everything. So, yeah, we'll send the Ketrodon back. Go away, Ketrodon. So this is going to grow to a 2/2, and they're going to make a 3/3 probably. So I don't really want to attack with, like, these two. But I will attack with everything else and make a new elephant. And we'll use this ability. We'll probably wait till their turn, although our hand's empty, so it's not exactly like we're bluffing. I guess this isn't going to attack either. Okay, well, they're doing the same thing to us, and we will put ours on top as well. That's funny. I can get it in my hand with the Vanguard, so... Alright, so let's attack with these. Pretty good exchange for us overall, I think it's safe to say. Yeah, they're going to gain life back, but they're going to take a big hit here, and then we get our Mammoth back next turn. Plus, we're going to draw the Mammoth. They're at 3. They'll go up to 7 off this draw, but... Oh, the Gear Hulk. Gear Hulk's just better, right? Yeah. We're going to get to cast it. Because the Gear Hulk will let us remove the Ketrodon and swing with everything. So, yeah. Go away. Okay. We got there. And we won off a Gear Hulk. God, I love this format. You know, that's what's so funny about this format. Like, this kind of format is what I love, but it's been so long since we've had one where you can play, like, Lumbering World Wagon and dirtle around as long as you want, that you know, my brain has been reprogrammed for Modern Limited, and I did so poorly in this format in the early going because I was like, I'm just trying to curve out here, you know? I'm just trying to play aggressive, and mostly that doesn't work in this format. So... Instead, you play your Gear Hulks. Alright, good hand. Yeah, we'll play the Scurryfoot on 1. Gain land on 2. Our opponent never used that Scurryfoot ability, which I think is probably a mistake. Like, at some point, I wasn't paying that much attention, but they had to have had a play where it was the better choice, you know what I mean? Yeah, we may end up just trading with Tyrox here. As much as I'd like to get some bodies later. Our deck can't really... They had to spend 2 to do it, which I don't hate. But, I don't love taking 4. Right, there's a Tranquil Cove, but yeah, we want to play Buccaneer. If we have another Lightning Strike, we might be in some trouble here. Oh boy, that's aggressive. I mean, I know why they're doing it. They're trying to get max speed, but like... I'm just a little surprised. I think I might black Dynamite Diver. I hate going to 13, but... It does give me 2-for-1 potential. I'm going to be able to deal with this before they can draw cards with it. And right now, next turn, I don't have anything to do. So having exhaust next turn plus run over is not bad. So okay. Well, I think we attack. See what happens. Because if they decide to block and I exhaust, I can just use run over to kill the Spike Spitter before it's ever a problem. Alright, so they didn't. So we're not going to be able to use run over. We do still exhaust, though. Look at all these lands. I do like having lands, but... Alright, so we're going to play this untapped so that we have run over ready to go. Yeah. I may have to trade off for Tyrox here. I probably do, unfortunately. Unless they attack with a Spike Spitter, which they do. Which, in that case, I think we block it. And then we'll finish it off with run over. We are at much lower life than I would like to be in this scenario, but yeah, I still think we finish it with run over. Okay, trip up is good. We get an attack in here. I'm probably supposed to play the Harrier. I even get to lower their speed, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, adding a body to the board is certainly better than the alternative. I think we bounce... Yeah, we'll bounce the more expensive card. Lower their speed to 2. Yeah. So, is Vigilance better right now than a 4/4? I mean, probably. Okay, Bounce Off is going to be pretty good. So is Trip Up. We gain a life, which certainly doesn't hurt. So yeah, I mean, Bounce Off and Trip Up can both really punish Exhaust. So, I like that. Don't like it that they have removal, though. We're going to need to find something else to protect us while we try to find a way to win this game. So yeah, we will trip up the Paragon. Nice. That is a good draw. Couple of bodies. I need to keep drawing well, though, probably. So... Let's see. If I block with a Thopter, they're going to use this. And if they do that, they can't play the Paragon. And I can bounce off in response. So I think that is probably the optimal play. I mean, I guess there's a chance they just let their thing die, but it seems highly unlikely. They can replay the 2-1. If I draw a land here like that, I'm not in great shape. Am I supposed to attack here? Takes them down to 7. They swing back for like 4. Yeah, I think I'm just supposed to attack with the Thopter. And I will block. If I draw another land here, it's not going to be good. Oof. All right. Well, pretty much have to block the pace setter. We could use our other spike bounce turtle thing right about now. Dang. Too many lands there. Stock up. We had a lot of cards that really would have gone a pretty long way towards helping us get back in that game. Like Stock Up was one of the big ones that would have been nice to draw. Because we had so much mana that we could cast it and then, you know, grab the 2 best cards and probably play both of them, which is like a play you see a fair bit in this format. Okay, our mana's a little bit sketchy, but bounce off and the fact I can cycle this if things get really bad keeps me from being too worried. Alright, we did draw a 3rd land, which is good, because it sets up the Veloheart Bike to do its thing. Don't really feel like bounce-offing that. Like, it's not really a threat to our life total, and I don't really want to let them surveil again if I can help it either. Nice. Drawing a 2-drop is good. So, yeah, we're going to play Veloheart Bike, and we get to leave up, run over, and bounce off, which is pretty nice with Veloheart Bike. As long as we don't... We have to produce the mana and then crew it for... otherwise, because if you crew it first, it won't be able to tap for mana. It is kind of complicated card for a common, but hey... Not sure whether I'm going to use Run Over. No, I don't like that. Can definitely set up some shenanigans. I really don't like Grim Bobble. So we are in that weird, awkward spot here where if I want to use Run Over, I have to tap this for mana now, then crew it, then cast Run Over. But there's not really anything that run-overable. Or bounce-offable. Like, I may just take 3 here. And this can't really block anything anyway. So I think we... just let this happen. Could bounce my own Vanguard, but, you know. Pass. And I didn't want to block the Deathless Pilot with my Veloheart Bike, so... Alright. Okay, well, we can play the Harrier, like, now, thanks to our bike. And I probably do. Yeah, gets me a big body on the board, bounces the pilot. I could have played the Thopterist and crewed this and hit them for 4, I guess, but... Ah, the Scurryfoot. So... I think I'm going to attack with the Harrier here. See what happens. I probably bounce the token if they double block. And if they take 4, that's fine. We play our Thopterist. Alright. And pass. Thopterist lines up pretty well against the Scurryfoot. You know, they're pretty similar cards, actually. So we've got Bounce Off and Run Over up, which I like. So they're probably going to cycle that and then reanimate it. That's the game plan here. Well, you're going to let me get in for 1 in the air. Yeah, I think I'll just take 3. I think I'm just going to bounce the token here. There's stock up. Crew 2. I'm sort of leaning towards attacking with everything here. And then casting stock up while I still have Run Over up. I could cast stock up first, I guess. I don't want to leave white untapped, though, if I do that. Yeah, let's stock up first. Alright, another Harrier and an Engineer. I'll take it. Pilot might block our Nimble Thopterist, but I think that's fine. I think I just play the Engineer now. I do still have Run Over. Well, not really, because I can't crew this. So I don't really have Run Over up. But it gives us a creature that can block both of these. So I think it's better than leaving up some interaction. So yeah, they can reanimate the Gravestalker. Right. That's a nice thing to bounce with our Harrier, so I'm not too worried. Bounce the big ol' expensive creature. This does give us the double white that we might need someday. But I think I'm probably still supposed to attack with it. There's only so much they can do with the mana that they have. Well, it is big enough to survive Run Over, but I can bounce it, so. Wonder if they have the indestructibility trick. Because I've found myself doing it where I look at tricks in this format, look at that 2 mana +1/+1 indestructible trick, and I'm like, does this give hexproof? And of course it doesn't, so bounce spells like that get around it. Alright, so I think we just swing at everything. I'm willing to give up the Thopter for a little bit more damage, and they don't have a good block. Even if they have that trick, we can use Run Over to blow them out. I considered using Run Over first, but I think there's enough of a risk of them being able to do something to not die that I think holding on to Run Over is slightly better. Trying to decide if I want to play out the Omnivore. Well, they're dead, okay. I was going to say. I was trying to decide if it would be better to leave up the mana or play around like a Wrath, which is like the only way we would lose, but it didn't matter. All that tempo from those bounce creatures and everything is sweet, and a format where stock up is good is just, it's like my dream. I love the feeling of casting stock up when I have like 7 lands. Okay, it's definitely not the fastest hand, but I do gain a little life. I've got bounce off and I have all my colors. I think it's keepable. This will help me get back ahead from behind potentially too. I kind of need to draw some early stuff, but that's not impossible. It's a solid little hand. We even have our double white for our Gear Hulk. Which we did get to cast. It hasn't really hurt us either. Our mana hasn't punished us. It's probably going to happen at some point, but we do have pretty good mana. So like, the hardest thing for our deck to do is to get that double white. So there's only one card in our deck where we feel like we get punished for that, and so it's not going to line up that often, especially when we've got the bikes and the World Wagon and all that stuff. Hey, we can actually play it on turn 4. That would be nice. Yeah, so I think we play the Engineer here, and I think trading for the Catalyzer is fine. Yeah, I mean, if they want to use a trick, that's fine too. Well, I'm going to do the same thing. We want to play our Plains so that we can play our Gear Hulk next turn if we choose to. And I think we probably will, like, provided they play a creature anyway. It is non-land permanent, but that's one I'm less excited about doing it with because they're going to tutor up some stuff. But it does get tucked into their deck, so it's not like I have to deal with it immediately. So I could bounce off their Velo Heartbike, but saving bounce off for once I have the Gear Hulk in play does seem pretty good. Also greedy, probably. Yeah, we'll go ahead and bounce off their Velo Heartbike. So, yeah, I think we just play Gear Hulk here and make them, you know, basically we've wiped their board. And we have a creature that hits very hard. If they play another expensive creature that we just bounce, like, we're going to feel pretty good about that. They do not. They do play an annoying Death Toucher, but Death Touch doesn't line up so well against Double Strike. So I do think we bounce, because it lets us get in for 8 if we Spike Shell Harrier this thing. Plus we lower it. Well, no, we can't lower their speed anymore. Yeah, so we go Spike Shell Harrier. Bounce the Lagak. Crew our Velo Heartbike. Attack for 8. Ketrodons. Well, it does make our lives harder. Just gonna empty my hand here. Our deck probably could have used a Ketrodon. I sort of hope they don't have something else to tutor up. Good chance they do, though. Okay, at least it's only another Omnivore. Like, the huge Dino would be really bad news right now, so... I'd love it if they attacked with their Ketrodon, but I don't think they will. Ooh, that's a good draw, just because, like, we need to find some action. Like another Spike Shell Harrier. And we have the mana to use the ability. It is wild that we did 8 to them. We had that turn where we did 8 and they're at 20. 2 Velo Heartbite triggers and a Ketrodon trigger will do that. Our Gear Hulk might be about to die. Something's dying, it would seem. Maybe not. Alright, so we're going to use this ability. The Mammoth is pretty good here. Yeah, we have the mana for it. Mammoth it is. Not as good as the Bounce Turtle, but, you know, it's pretty good. Yeah, that makes sense. I think the Mammoth is probably more of a threat than the Gear Hulk right now. Although, like, one non-creature spell puts me in pretty good shape in terms of, like, being able to... Like, one non-creature spell would mean I can attack with the Gear Hulk. You know, we just haven't had one. This game seems like it's going to go on for a while. Wonder if they have the red-green Gear Hulk. Because that would be good. Alright, so we bricked on our draw, but we do get another crack here. We do not want to leave white untapped, though. We've played our only white card. So, I guess we'll take a Tranquil Cove. I like gaining a single life. It's not what you're hoping to hit, but it's something. Look at all that reach. They put so much reach in this set. Alright, well, yeah, that makes sense, too. Their board state is definitely better than ours now, thanks to the Hazard of the Dunes joining the Ketrodon. I guess it's a little surprising they haven't attacked with another removal spell. Yeah, that's not going to help. It's a little surprising they haven't attacked with the Lagak at all. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be very hard for us to... We need to start drawing better, basically. Kind of like them. Removal. Oh my god. Let's see. Every time I turn it on to record, I swear the floods come for me. I feel like most of my drafts have at least like 2 games where this sort of thing happens. I mean, and it's gonna happen. You know, some people talk about how it's the shuffler and this would never happen in paper. It happens in paper, people. And if it never happens to you, you're cheating. But it is frustrating. I don't deny that. Just, you know, it's just silly to me when people talk about how Arena's rigged or something like that. Are they really not going to attack us again? They're really not going to. Ooh, look at that. With all the mana we have, that means we can attack more or less. Well, not just more or less. It means we can attack. We're at 24. All right. I kind of forgot about Sita. She hadn't shown up yet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. So we can make all of our creatures have 8. Yeah. So let's attack with everything. It doesn't really make a difference to crew this. No. So... feel like this turn has got to win us this game. I mean, it's definitely the kind of turn that normally does. Ooh, the double block is spicy. And then Sita's going to be huge, too. So everything else will shrink back to its usual size, but not Sita. Ooh, can they kill her in response? Of course they can. Of course they can. Okay, well that means we lose. I think it's safe to say. All right. Wow. How many removal spells in a row did my opponent draw in that game? Seems like 4 out of 5 draws in a row were removal spells. So sad to go from, like, game-winning Sita Varma turn to get destroyed. I guess it's better to use her ability before you attack, especially when my opponent knows I couldn't do anything else. If I'd done it before I attacked, they still would have killed her, and I wouldn't have gotten the bigger creatures, but my creatures wouldn't have all been blocked and dead. So, things you learn. That's probably the better play, you know, when you don't have anything else going on. All right, she's gonna try again. Although this time she's not showing up late to do something amazing. But I will just run her out on 2. I mean, she has a 2/3. Yeah, they can name Sita Varma. Play our Velo Heart Bike. Okay. Do I just attack for 4 here? Yeah, I think we do. Question is, do I also run over something? Because I'm not going to be able to do it next turn. Killing the mechanic isn't bad. Next turn I'll play the mammoth, though, and then, yeah, I think we just accept things as they are. Play the mammoth this next turn, and hopefully that pulls us ahead. Gross. Yep. Can't do anything about it. You're going to gain 3 back. It's not looking awesome. Yeah, so we'll attack for 2. And play our Mammoth. I don't hate them spending a turn doing that. Ooh, except... Okay, good, good. For a moment, I thought they might have their own run over, which would... Luckily, our creature's still big enough that we're not completely wrecked by run over, but... With Autarch Mammoth in play, it takes a lot for the base power to be thing to be worth it. This does have ward, doesn't it? No. I don't know why I was thinking it did. Alright. Well, we are going to do this. I mean, if they decide to block, we can... definitely mess the situation up for them in a big way. Oh yeah, and with this in play, it takes a lot for Sita Varma to do her thing. Yeah, we have a bunch of interactions, so even though it sort of looks like they can hit us really hard, we can interfere with that in a big way. All right, so they're going to take the 5. I don't think I do anything else here. We just leave up all our mana. We can blow up our Velo Heart Bike if they really want to with District Mascot. Okay. I'm a little worried about trying to use Run Over when they have this much mana up. I'm thinking about just bouncing the Chariot. It'll shrink. I take less damage. Sets things up pretty well for next turn. So yeah, I think we're going to try to bounce the Chariot here. They can choose to name our Mammoth now, which is a thing. Certainly. It will make me spend 2 mana to crew. Ooh, I'm glad they did that instead, though, because now I just go, no thank you. I love that that card has turned out to be pretty good and limited, too. Like, what kind of limited format is this? The crew is saddle 5. Okay. What happens if I just attack with kill this and attack with everything? They're dead. Okay. So that's probably what we should do then. All right. We got there. Okay, so no blue mana, but I do think it's keepable. You know, we do need to draw an island, of course. There's a pretty good chance we do. And we do have cards we can play to help give us the time we need. So this is where our mana can punish us a little. You know, I was mentioning how it hadn't really happened yet, but might happen now. Here's our Vanguard. Come on, blue mana. Hey, if we get to 5 and still don't have blue, the Vanguard can find it for us. Don't recommend playing this. It has really panned out to not be a very good card, mostly because of the how one-dimensional it is. It does, you know, on turn 2, it has a pretty good time with, like, Brightfield Glider, of course. But yeah. So I think I attack here. I think if they block, I do kill the interface ace with Run Over. And if they don't block, I probably kill Battlefield Glider here. Means there'll be a turn where they're not doing anything, basically. And I think we need those so that we can get to our blue mana. We need turns where they're not doing anything. Another glider. The gliders, you know, the ace may not be great, but the gliders have turned out to be surprisingly good. Ugh, God. I was joking about getting to 5 and using the Vanguard to find blue, but it's not looking good. What was I thinking keeping that hand when my mana has been how it's been? Yeah, you know, if this was an island, our deck would probably be more consistent. But we wouldn't have gotten to cast a Gear Hulk twice. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're just going to have to take 5 here. If we don't draw blue here, and we do, thank goodness. I was going to say, if we don't, we probably lose. But now I can bounce the Swiftwing Assailant, get a big body on the board, and hopefully stabilize a little bit. The Glider's still going to be coming for us, but... that's fine. That's a lot better than them being able to attack with everything, which is what the case would have been. Like if I drew another forest there, they would have attacked with the 3/3, and that creature still would have been in play. Oh God. That's not what I want to see. So, like, if you think about it, how big of a difference is Interface Ace actually making right now? And the answer is not that big of one, because Sundial could crew it just as well, and it could do a bunch of other things. And sure, having this untapped and not this tapped is better, but it's not, like, way better. You know, it doesn't make huge difference. It's too bad it gets a toughness buff on top of everything. I guess I'm going to play the Buccaneer. It's biggish, and we need to do some drawing. So, like, playing Sita Varma is not going to be fast enough. I mean, I guess it does give us a little bit more... yeah, let's play Sita Varma, because, like, if we do draw more mana, obviously she becomes a pretty significant threat. We don't have a ton of time is our problem. But, like, you know, I really wouldn't have had that good of an attack here anyway. Sure, I probably would have attacked with my Harrier if Sundial was tapped. But, oh good, it's even bigger now. But, it wouldn't matter, like, in the grand scheme of this game that I could. And the Tyrant is just, like, a way, you know, if this was just another 2-mana 3/3, it would be way better than being this thing, you know. Okay, so we are pretty close to dead on the next turn. I mean, I can play out multiple bodies here and hope that somehow I'm allowed to, like, attack with everything and do the Sita Varma thing, but, I mean, I think that's our best bet, unfortunately. I'm pretty disappointed that this deck, we'll probably go in 3-3 with it, but apparently that's what happens when I record drafts in this format. Although, you know, the earlier ones, the decks definitely didn't feel as good as this one did. You know, when I'm drafting red aggro decks and stuff and some of the others, like, you know, the Spire mech cycle that I thought was so good, turns out it's not, because it's a vehicle that doesn't have an interest trigger, doesn't create a 2-for-1, and it's super awkward in this format. So, you know, playing those kinds of cards definitely feels worse than having this sweet grindy deck where we got to cast our Gear Hulks and spend a bunch of mana on things. You know, I'll take it. So I can play the diversion unit to chump block next turn. That's like our... That's what we're hoping for, I guess. You did see, you know, you saw this deck firing on all cylinders, and you also saw it kind of getting run over. Yeah, because you need 3 flyers to attack me next turn, huh? I don't think there's really anything we can draw. I mean, we can't cast our Gear Hulk, so that'd be a bad draw. I may just attack and use Seat of Varma because we're dead, you know? Just because it's funny. And we got blown out last time we tried to use her. I am going to do it at instant speed again here, just because it's funny. I wonder if there's... Because using her ability does make everything into a 6/6. But they have so much life, it doesn't... There's not really a way for me to both use Sita Varma's ability... I mean, I guess I could play the unit and then block their Brightfield Glider after using her ability. There'll be less mana. Yeah, maybe that's the better play. They're going to have 2 flyers coming at us is the problem. Because the glide car is going to be flying too. So that doesn't really work. Yeah, I'm just going to attack for fun here. They'd probably kill her in response. In this case, I really should have done it, like, if I actually had a chance to win. Because they can now cast that white removal spell on Sita Varma, and they wouldn't have been able to before. If they're just going to take it all, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to get a free win. Is it even a free win? They have so much life. Yeah, it would be 30. It would be 30 damage. There's no way that's what happens, though. And if they do let us through, it means that they have the removal spell, obviously. So, I'm intrigued by how long they're taking to do this. Just, like, block a couple things and then swing for lethal. I guess I have 1 card in my hand and they're freaked out about that, to be fair. There is a chance it's something, but it's not. If enough things die, the glide car might not actually be flying. There's like a world wherein... Let's see here. So I just need to buff this by 1 for this to kill Sundial. Then they have 3 creatures, but then they can play this one, tap all 3, give this... flying. Oh wait, yeah. And also, well, I guess they won't quite have enough bodies to do both, unless they have another creature in their hand. So, I think we actually don't buff Sita Varma nearly as hard, because we have a bit of a chance here now. So let's do... Yeah, we'll do 2, because that way I still have the mana to play Diversion Unit, which gives us a tiny chance. Also still get in for 12, which doesn't hurt. And then we play the unit and hope that they don't have enough bodies to send both flyers in this turn. I mean, I think we still lose a turn later, but yeah. So yeah, they can put a counter on it here. So they would have to play 2 creatures here to be able to send both flyers into the air. Now, they don't really have to. The glider can just attack and I have to... Oh. Yeah, I'm still dead because I was somehow only thinking of the flyers this whole time. It's not like only the flyers can hit me. So yeah, they can just do enough damage here to kill me. So I should have just gone for all the damage. Well, yeah, I mean, I think you saw that this deck is pretty sweet, that this format is much grindier than I thought initially. You know, and I liked that a lot, actually. You know, being able to do the kind of stuff we were doing with Lumbering World Wagon, you know, like that card is just, it would be a disaster in so many formats to play this Crew 4 vehicle that grabs you a land. Like, you don't want to do it. But you saw it go off in game 1. We got to cast a couple of Gearhulks. You saw how good Harriers and Mammoths and, like, you know, even expensive removal spells are in this format. Veloheart Bike is a pretty good card. Better than you'd think in this format because you have reasons to have a bunch of mana, and ramping's a pretty big deal. So, yeah, 3-3, not great, but the deck was fun, and I think that matters more.